XDC is a decentralized, open-source, and community-driven blockchain platform. Let's explore the innovative features, use cases, and benefits, and how it is revolutionizing the future. XDC is an EVM-compatible Layer 1 blockchain successfully running since 2019. It is a hybrid network that combines both public and private blockchain with interoperable smart contracts. It is built to meet the demands of real-world asset tokenization, modern finance, and global trade. Scalability is a fundamental strength of XDC. Powered by the XinFin Delegated Proof of Stake, XDPoS consensus mechanism, and innovative architecture, the network can process up to 2,000 transactions per second, ensuring efficient and fast transaction settlement and enhanced performance. As the network evolves, it will continue to enhance its scalability and performance to meet the demands of all use cases. XDC simplifies cross-border and domestic transactions by eliminating intermediaries, thus reducing costs. The highly important global financial messaging ISO 20022 standard works effortlessly on the XDC network, enabling an advanced instant settlement solution that allows digital assets to be included in a message's payload. Payments also provides transparency and immutability, allowing all parties involved to view and track transactions in real time. This enhances transparency and reduces the risk of fraud or errors. The XDC network is designed for enterprise use, offering real-world decentralized applications that meet the requirements for businesses, organizations, and governments, such as smart contracts functionality, privacy, identity management, and regulatory compliance. Moreover, by connecting various blockchain networks seamlessly, it promotes seamless interoperability and facilitates integration and data exchange with private chains or subnetworks. This positively impacts the industries globally and makes the network suitable choice for sectors like finance, supply chain, trade finance, legacy systems, real-world asset tokenization, and more. Additionally, XDPoS2 is the most energy-efficient consensus that actively supports sustainability by enabling transparent carbon credit trading, contributing to a more environmentally friendly future. XDC Network has a thriving ecosystem supported by a diverse community of users, developers, enthusiasts, and industry experts. Through strategic partnerships with leading organizations and technology providers, XDC expands its ecosystem, fostering innovation, cross-chain compatibility, adoption, flexibility, and liquidity. With its scalable architecture, fast transaction speeds, low fees, robust military-grade security, cross-chain compatibility, and cost-effective enterprise-grade solutions. To learn more and stay updated, visit xinfin.org and engage with our community via xdc.dv. Together, we are shaping a decentralized and interconnected world.
Wow. Okay. Hi everyone. Hello. Welcome everyone to our very first episode. My name is Sonny, head of ecosystem at XDC Network, and I'm very excited to have you all here. So today is a very big day for us at XDC. We're sitting down with one of the world's leading telecom giants, Deutsche Telekom, to talk about how they are actively leveraging our hybrid blockchain infrastructure, which you actually saw the presentation just before at the start of this podcast, in real world enterprise environments, right? So today is not going to be some theoretical Web3 conversation. We are going to talk about actual deployment, real use cases, and some sort of impact as well, right? From streamlining cross-border value transfer to rethinking trade finance rails, this collaboration with Deutsche Telekom is all about bringing blockchain out of the hype cycle and into production-grade systems. Okay, so what makes this exciting for us is how XDC's core strength, which is low transaction costs, high throughput, and EVM compatibility, are enabling organizations like Deutsche Telekom to integrate decentralized technology without compromising on performance or compliance. So today we are going to unpack how this partnership came together, what's happening under the hood, and why this is a strong signal for where enterprise adoption of Web3 is heading. Let's get into it. And today I'm really excited again to be joined by Alex Ebeling from Deutsche Telekom. So
Yeah.
let me just introduce Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Alex is the co-founder of Web3 Infrastructure Solutions at Telecom MMS. He's going to talk later what's the connection relationship between Telecom and Deutsche Telekom as well. And he's been at the forefront of bringing enterprise-grade infrastructure into blockchain networks. So Alex,
Thanks.
it's
Yeah.
great to have you here. Uh,
Thanks,
to
Tony's.
start us
Thanks.
off, yeah, you're welcome. To start us off, tell us a bit about
Hmm?
you, your journey,
Yeah.
Deutsche Telekom, Telecom MMS, and what are you building in the Web3 space?
Yeah. Thanks, Sonny. Thank you very much to be here. Thanks for the invitation. Really glad to share our story, our knowledge, the history and the future, and our collaboration and partnership with the XDC community. So thanks again. So I'm Alex. I'm the co-founder of the Web3 Infrastructure Solution unit here at Deutsche Telekom MMS. My academic background is economist, so I'm from the economist side, but slowly over the last 10, 15 years, yeah, merging in the IT development, IT consulting direction. So I started here at Deutsche Telekom in IT consulting, business development. My tipping point in the Web3 ecosystem was 10 years, 10, 12 years ago, Bitcoin, Ethereum for sure. There are these ICO bubbles. And this was the point where I was completely in this rabbit hole, fascinating by this technology, by the advantages of the technology. And my goal was, as always, to challenge the actual Web2 businesses here at Deutsche Telekom MMS for our customers and how the advantages of Web3 can bring advantages and more benefit to our customers. So what means our customers and what means Deutsche Telekom MMS? So Deutsche Telekom MMS is the fully owned subsidiary of Deutsche Telekom AG. So this means we are roughly about 2,000 to 3,000 employees here at Deutsche Telekom MMS, mainly IT service, IT developers, software developers, architects. And for itself, so our motivation is to be a little bit more the speedboat of these big enterprise Deutsche Telekom. We want to try and test out new technologies. And so what wonder 12 years ago, 10 years ago, we want to try the new technology, Web3 and blockchain, try to find a solution, find a portfolio and a business case for us. So Deutsche Telekom, only a few words on Deutsche Telekom, one of the largest telecom companies globally. So we own a lot of infrastructure. Is it cables, networks, cloud? And we are, beside of that, and this is one of the major advantages as well, we are the most valuable brand here in Europe with our T logo, with the magenta. This brings confidentially and this brings a lot of potential and reputation in the market as well. So where we started here 10 years ago with these fancy new technology blockchain was from complete bottom-up approach. So we're starting with education, consulting, proof of concepts, development. So we want to have a glimpse what this technology can bring us in our world, in our classic legacy business world. So we did a lot of proof of concept, digital identity, finance, back in the days as well, supply chain management, and since 2020, 21, we're focusing completely on operating blockchain infrastructure. So the core principles of Deutsche Telekom infrastructure. This is then the core principle now since 5 years for us as our Web3 infrastructure solution unit. So we operating infrastructure for the Web3 world. Yeah.
Right. Amazing. Fantastic. So in many ways, I can, whatever I could gather from your insights, Alex. I think blockchain is just the next evolution of infrastructure, right? So we are moving from centralized, as you mentioned, centralized networks to fully decentralized ones, but still requiring the same level of trust and performance. And when you start looking at it that way, it makes sense why telecom MMS would have evaluate multiple ecosystems, right? So again, that brings me to my next question. You operate across many blockchain networks. Um, what specifically stood out for XTC about XTC for Deutsche Telekom? This is very important for our
Yeah,
viewers and listeners to know.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, maybe to sum this up. So, as you already said, Deutsche Telekom, we know how to run and operate traditional IT infrastructure, networks, cables, cloud, and so this was for us a complete reasonable next step to be this bridge between the traditional enterprise IT and Web3 native protocols. So, and this is and based on our experience in the traditional enterprise IT managing networks, this experience we can bring in the Web3 for the Web3 ecosystem and Web3 infrastructure as well. So this is a huge benefit. Therefore, why we choose XDC and decide to support XDC. So we evaluate networks across different kind of use cases, different kind of technology stack. And what for us completely fascinating was for XDC the technology stack. On the one hand side, running, is it feasible? Is it manageable for us? Is it already reliable to run the technology stack? So do we have a good feeling because we have a trust and we have a reputation? So this the infrastructure, the underlying technology needs to be bulletproof. So this was the one advantages for XCC, and then definitely the use cases. You already mentioned real world use cases, or in the presentation, real world use cases, real world assets, trade finance, global payments. Because as you know, we as Deutsche Telekom, we are part of the global ecosystem. So
Right.
we are part of T-Mobile US is part of Deutsche Telekom. We have definitely NatCos or entities, other telecom entities in cross-wide. And payment is something, the payment rails, something this interests us as always. So how we can connect digital payments between our customers and different entities in different countries. So this trade finance as well. But this was a case where we said, this is the second match beside of the
Right.
technology. And then we saw the
Right.
ecosystem. So the strange and the increase in the ecosystem, because at the end, this is a little bit counterintuitive, because it's not the best technology who wins at the end. It's not the best technology. It's the use case, the
Yeah.
adoption of the use cases and the adoption of the ecosystem. So the ecosystem is important, and we saw that you have a very active ecosystem, and then it was for us a completely logical match here to meet us and to operating a master node.
Right. I really like the way you mentioned real world use cases, having um, a very strong and engaging ecosystem as well at the same time, especially in the areas like trade finance and global payments that you mentioned, where obviously blockchain can solve real inefficiencies, right? So, taking this step further, Telecom obviously MMS didn't just participate, but they actually committed to the infrastructure, which is the XDC underlying infrastructure. And you very subtly mentioned about the master nodes. And Deutsche Telekom MMS is running a XTC master node, right? I think for our audience and listener, we would like to simplify it, break it down. What does that actually mean? And when you say that you're running an XDC master node, and why and how did you come about this conclusion of deciding to go ahead with XDC network for running your master nodes?
Yeah. So we're already running a masternode since July 2024. So we're
Right.
already well in the ecosystem. A masternode is one of the core validator nodes in the XDC network. And this means we, and other masternodes as well, we validate the transaction who are on the on the XDC network, who are processed on the XDC network. We are part of the block creation in the XDC network, and we are part, and this is really important, of the network consensus, how we gain and how we find a network consensus, and how we keep the systems up and running. So this is completely matched to our DNA, right? That the telecom once in the Web2 world, the infrastructure, keep the infrastructure running in different situation, do the payload on the processes in the classic Web2 infrastructure, and this is then the logical step to operate a masternode. Because with these masternode or with our masternode, we secure the network and we can stabilize the network because as I mentioned, our experience back in the days with Web2 infrastructure is that we are highly reliable, highly
Yeah.
available, and that we have strong SLAs, service level agreements with respect to outages or updates or patches. And this means that this is something we directly copy to our infrastructure for the Web2 world. So we gain and we can increase the stability and the security for the XDC network as a master node validator or as a master node operator. And for sure, definitely, we are then part of the increased decentralization of the whole network because we are running our infrastructure here in Europe. We can run this worldwide, but we decided for the XCC masternode to run this here in Europe, and this is then a goal or advantages for the decentralization of the whole network. And beside of all these more technical
Yeah.
stuff is that we are then, because we are part of we are running a masternode, we can actively contribute to the network infrastructure. We can actively contribute to the ecosystem, to the community of XCC, and I'm very glad to have discussions like this here.
Yeah.
And this is only possible because we are running the masternodes. And I think we can mention this. We have events as well, and these fruitful ecosystem is only possible that because we are running the XCC masternode. Yeah. So shared DNA, I would say, Telecom MMS and XCC focusing on the traditional ways and with Web3 rails. So this match completely, and masternode is a complete logical step. Yeah.
Right. That's a very great way to simplify it, Alex, really. Being right at the core of validation and consensus, right? And it really shows long term commitment, not just participation, as you mentioned, right? And
Yeah.
obviously, that naturally leads to the economics and incentives behind it. Um, so, what are the incentives, for running a master node? And how should people or enterprises, other telecoms companies, investors, think about the role of node operators?
Yeah, perfectly. So there are two ways. The one is partly I mentioned already before a little bit. So the node operators are essential for the securing the network, and this means you're verifying transaction, you're part of the block producing, and so you decentralize the network. So for
Right.
these are these are services you give the network, the XCC network, and for these services you receive definite rewards, for sure, because we are not we have an infrastructure who needs to run. We have here employees in our team, employees who do the SLAs, who do the who do the on-call duties, and
Right.
the network rewards. These are around 8 to 10%, depending on the actual network conditions. Sometimes slightly change a little bit, but between 8 and 10% of the network rewards you receive as a master node operator. And this is the network rewards we directly use for for consuming for our infrastructure. So this is for us the logical step, and these are both sides of advantages of running a master node. Yeah.
Wow. So the rewards are actually being used in the infrastructure itself, consuming into the infrastructure. Right.
Exactly,
So
because 8 to 10% APY
yeah.
for the operators, and for the master node you have you need 10 million XDC as the master node stake, and then you receive the 8 to 10% APY, and this we directly use for sure for running the infrastructure and need and for us it's like a service level agreement. We see it in the traditional
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
Perfect. I think a reliable infrastructure becomes a backbone of adoption, and beyond infrastructure, telecom is also very active at the ecosystem level. Obviously, the rewards are there, as you mentioned previously. The use cases are there, the rewards are there, and now the ecosystem is very important for any enterprise, any company to uh, collaborate with a protocol which has a very engaging and a thriving ecosystem, right?
Yes.
So yeah, it's very important. So that's why I would like to hear your thoughts about how do you engage with ecosystem beyond just running the infrastructure at XTC or with XTC network.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe before I come to this, to the question about the ecosystem, one advantage is we see as well is, and because you mentioned this, that the adoption is really important for the
Correct.
ecosystem. That this drives each other. So from our perspective, we're discussing here over the last minutes only the infrastructure perspective as Deutsche
Right.
Telekom MMS staking unit, but you have a bunch of use cases around. So thinking of use cases in Deutsche Telekom globally, so the whole payment use cases between our US entity and Europe
Right.
entity, between Europe itself. Think about roaming. Roaming means if you're customer of one mobile of one national telecommunication provider and you switch the networks, the few cents of payments who needs to roam and who needs to clarify cleared after this. There's a lot of use cases on Deutsche Telekom side, all around
Right.
5G telecommunication. But beside of that, and this is one angle, and we
Correct.
attract as always. We have really
Okay.
good connection to our telecom guys in the strategic department, and we as always mention, if you're thinking about increasing processes, think about Web3. Think about use case around this. So we need concrete use case examples. And beside of this, we have the unit Deutsche Telekom MMS, who is normally the service digitalization company for the SME business here in Germany, so small and
Right.
medium enterprises. So
Okay.
they have a huge topic on the agendas, and the use cases are far away from telco businesses. Their use cases
Right.
around, don't know, trade finance, supply chain management, identity, real world assets,
Yeah.
stuff like this. So we have two angles here we want to tackle beside of our infrastructure, and we can tackle, and we tackle already, so that we have sessions here with our internal employees who have different customers in the automotive, insurance, or banking industry. And we have internal sessions here with Deutsche Telekom strategy, and we try to bring this topic and to bring the advantages and the use cases to in the market via these two angles. And this is quite successful. It needs time, definitely. It's nothing what can happen in
Yeah.
a few weeks. So we are steady, but we seeing the interest, and a lot of education. But if we find there a solution and find a customer, then this
Yeah.
is huge, because then you have a sustainable business and sustainable use case. So this is only want to highlight this as well, beside of our infrastructure, that we have these two angles to accelerate and to multiply here the adoption, because we have these sweet spot as Deutsche Telekom MMS. Now come back to your question about our community and ecosystem collaboration.
Right.
We have last year, we already had a really nice meetup, Telecom in France in Berlin, where XDC could participate. This was really cool.
Right.
It's like I imagine it's a meetup. We have XDC on stage and other friends, and we discussed future outlook, future perspective, use case adoption, as always with these angle how we can push more Web2 companies in the Web3 world. So we setting the stage in our Hubraum. This is innovation startup accelerator from Deutsche Telekom. Nice location in Berlin, and this is part of the Berlin Blockchain Week. So the whole community is already there in Berlin, and we do this this year as well, and hopefully with XDC. I'm quite sure that we do this with XDC. Yeah, okay, thumbs up. So we do this with XDC this year as well. And this is finally a good point to meet everybody in person and not only virtual. Right. So this is something we do in the collaboration. Then we have different community initiatives via X, where we do our Fact Fridays and X Spaces. As I mentioned, we happy to do more signature events from XDC, organized by XDC as well. So we as always be happy to part of the ecosystem of the community and share our knowledge, share our benefits. Because as you mentioned, the ecosystem needs to work together to grow and to find the adoption. And happy to do this as well and do this definitely.
That's really powerful message, Alex, because I totally agree with your points that you've mentioned. Let me summarize it. Because ecosystems don't grow with technology alone, right? They grow with collaboration. And you're doing that fantastically, bringing all the partners, ecosystem partners all together into your events, right? And I would like to also ask about this telecom and friends, as like what you do at telecom as well, like to know what you do. But bringing all these developers, enterprises, and communities together is what really drives momentum.
Exactly.
Expanding on that ecosystem engagement discussion, I would like to know about the events that you do. Like you mentioned about this event with XDC that jointly you had collaborated with XDC and conducted this event. You also do several talks on X as well. So what is this? I heard about this initiative called Telecom and Friends. Would you like to tell more about that, and how does XDC fits into that vision? If you have already not mentioned about it.
Yeah, for sure. It's like a big gathering of our friends and our colleagues in the Web3 unit, as well as this invitation or we advertise this specifically in Deutsche Telekom in the offices there in Berlin as well, because we want to attract more our internal colleagues, because then they can see directly on stage from the right contact person, from the networks by themselves, what are the advantages of this technology. So this is as always better as we describe our colleagues, hey, do this, do we have a look on this new use cases on the networks, and this is okayish, but it's much more better if they have direct contacts to the right contact person of here in this of XDC, for example. So this is the idea behind as well. So bringing our colleagues, attracting, nudging them to join the event, as well as the whole Berlin blockchain community who are already there and attending the Berlin Blockchain Week. We want to attract them as well. This works quite well, definitely. And then to interconnect our partners with each other. This is something as well. So we are running, for example, we are operating Oracle nodes for chaining as well, and indexer nodes for Subscript as two examples. And to connect our partners with each other is something we, at the beginning, we thought, maybe it's cool, but after our first event last year, we thought that this is a really game changer as well. There was a lot of connection discussion in between our partners. This was quite nice to see. This is really nice. So this is the goal. It's an evening 4 hours long, starting with keynotes discussion from us, then a different discussion format, presentation of different of our partners, and then interconnection and discussions, a more open format. And for sure, drinks and food are there as well. You need to do this. Jokes aside, but this is it's a big gathering and makes a lot of fun and really interesting to see how the community and the attendance then emerge, the questions raised and question can be answered, and the attention on different technologies. It's at the end really cool. So yeah. Happy to the invitation. So if you are in Berlin, Sonny, you have to be there. Yeah.
I'll have to tell my bosses that I should be in Berlin to meet Deutsche Telekom now that I know Alex. That would be great to meet you in person, Alex, as well.
Definitely.
I think these
and
kind
I really hope that
platforms
that Ken will be there as well from really valuable partnership with him. It would be so great if he could meet there as well. Yeah.
Absolutely, likewise. So I totally agree. These kind of platforms are very, very important for cross ecosystem collaboration, and it's great to see XTC being part of that global conversation. And I love to, if I get an opportunity, I'll come over to Berlin and obviously be a part of that amazing platform that you are hosting. We have some questions. Let's see if we can take few before we wrap up the session. Is that okay with you, Alex?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So I already see one here. I don't know. Do you want to? Okay.
Which one do you want to
go ahead? The energy efficiency. How important is energy efficiency? Perfect. Yeah, nice. And how? So big question. Interesting aspect. This is a rabbit hole for itself. Energy efficiency and energy consumption. In the first years, you cannot imagine how often we need to describe that the energy consumption of Bitcoin is not compared with the energy consumption or the setup of other blockchain networks. So everybody thought that blockchain is equal to Bitcoin or blockchain technology, and energy efficient is the same there. So this was huge educational work we did in the first years of our unit, but I would say the whole energy discussion over the last 2 years is completely changed because of AI. Everybody's talking about the energy consumption efficiency of AI, and not at least not Bitcoin anymore. This is quite fascinating for me. So in all our discussion and business discussions we have with our customers or with the Deutsche Telekom internal, the question for energy efficiency is not important anymore. This is quite fascinating me because it was so a major blocker in the beginning. Beside of that, this is one of a few of some conditions we have in mind if you're choosing networks, but much more important in the beginning. But over the last 2 years is, honestly speaking, completely shifting because of AI and the whole discussions about the energy consumptions and efficiency of a simple question to the AI or a thank you to the AI, and it's not the focus anymore. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Vin, for asking this question as well. And as Alex mentioned, it's not a focus or priority as it was in the beginning. So I hope that I've answered your question, Vin, and thanks for that question. I think everything else is compliments. I have a message from Can as well.
Nice.
So yeah, great. And I think that was the only question we had, which is obviously we needed to answer it from. I hear it from you actually, and everything else is like complimenting us. Oh, that's another question. I don't know. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
How do you like most about XDC ecosystem compared to others? Wow, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Daniel.
So as we Yeah, perfect. As we already said, no? And you said this as well. The XDC ecosystem, they are really focusing on adoption and use cases for connecting the traditional businesses. This is and not only focusing only on make this technology better, make the technology better. So at the end, not the best technology will win.
Right.
The technology or the setup or the system or the operation system will win who have the best adoption and the best adoption drives for use cases. So this is something we really like, and it's one I'm for me personally, I really like about XCC that they're not focusing on too much on technology stuff. They're focusing on partnerships in the traditional world, traditional businesses, and this is much more important because the traditional businesses, the Web2 world, they have the customers, they have the. Is it bad? No, it's already it's grows over the last 20, 30 years that they have the customer connection, and we need to partner with them, right? And at the end, I think the traditional businesses, yeah, technology is somehow important for them, but the adoption and the use case is much more important. So this is something I really like on the XCC for the XCC ecosystem, that they're not focusing only on technology. They're focusing on partnership with the traditional businesses.
Yeah, I think that brings us to the very relevant question and continuation to what you just mentioned about XTC. How has been the cooperation with XTC team so far, Alex, for you?
Yeah, completely brilliant. Completely fine. So if we have ideas, for example, the X spaces, as I mentioned, or these telecom and friends events, as we mentioned, no, these are something we mentioned here in our room and think, hey, it could be this idea. As always, Khan, for example, here from our team here in Germany or in Europe, as always, you mentioned, yeah, they are part of this, how we can support. Really cool idea, no? Gaining attraction, and this is something we really like, that we can bring ideas on the table, and you are the XCC team is part, no? It's not only part. They always say, okay, how we can participate. It's not only nice. They said, yeah, how we can participate, how we can push this event further. This is something it's really cool. So the cooperation is perfect. Really glad that we decided and that we go in this partner, or that we have this partnership over so long already, and podcasts like this, for example, and this is then course-wise. No, we had not this idea to make a live podcast.
Yeah.
This idea comes from you, so we really like these course-wise ideas. We bring something on the table.
Absolutely.
You bring something on the table, and this is how an ecosystem and the collaboration, the community needs to be active, and this is really cool.
Absolutely. And we got a testimonial over here from Benjamin. We love the XTC community. We're a bunch of eager, enthusiastic people. Always
Nice.
love to collaborate, always love to go and meet you at your events and wherever you are hosting this event. So yeah, thank you, Benjamin, over that. And we have some testimony from our XTC team as well. The love goes back to you as well.
Nice. Yeah, and the for example, this Telecom in France event, exactly. This is then we announced this together, and it's publicly available. So feel free, everybody in the community, to join. I guess it will be a Luma registration, so completely fine, and happy to host you guys and starting discussion with each other on a personal level.
Okay. Do we have time for another question?
I guess, yeah. There's a question about AI. Okay, this one, yeah.
Since telecom MMS operators validator nodes across multiple ecosystem, how does your experience differ when running a masternode on the XDC network compared to other chains? That's a smart question, Vin.
Yeah, stable, I would say, definitely, or I have to say stable.
Right.
It's something we really like. okay, there's this good old phrase here in Germany: "Never touch a running system," but somehow there's something in between these lines, and this is something we really like, and we really appreciate that that running a XDC masternode is really is stable. This is not a fancy technology who needs to have
Right.
releases every week or every month,
Very
where
important.
we need uh, to take the system, or need to build something around. This is something we really appreciate from XDC, that this is stable, and we have, compared to other chains who are heavily shipping new releases out on the validator side as well. We have here really a good, sustainable, and stable setup, and we really like this. Yeah.
Great. So, Vin, to answer your question, stable, sustainable, less disruptive as compared to other chains. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I think,
Thanks
thank
for
you, Alex.
summarizing that.
I think, oh, what was this? Was a question from Stephen. What are your efficiencies derived from on an AR perspective? Do you understand this question?
Where are your efficiencies derived from an on n why I need to
It's a bit of a
so
tricky question.
our efficiency from a yeah, but I guess this has nothing to do. I was thinking maybe this has something to do with the energy consumption, but I guess not. I think this has something to do with our usage of AI in our telecom staking or telecom
Right.
infrastructure perspective, and yeah, huge benefit, honestly saying. So all the concepts we had a few minutes ago, we had a discussion internally how we increase our monitoring stacks, reporting stacks of node operating with AI, and with the advantages of AI. So directly automating push notifications on any mobile phone, any chat protocols, if something runs well or not. So huge advantages of AI, and the availability and the advantages of AI for us as a Web3 unit as well. So thumbs up. Really looking forward for the next or for the future in AI, and how this can bring for us as an ecosystem provider. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Stephen, for that question, and thank you, Vin, for the thumbs up as well. I think we have to wrap the podcast. We've run over time. Alex, this has been a fantastic conversation, and I think we've just scratched the surface. Thank you so much for joining us today. And to our audience, stay tuned, because the next episode, which we are actually planning in the works,
Yeah.
probably, we'll let you know. We'll go even deeper into how enterprise infrastructure is shaping the future of Web3. Thanks for listening. Alex, anything before
Exactly.
we wrap up?
Yeah, thanks again. So exactly, for a potential second episode, would be really cool. Shoot out some comments, shoot out some ideas. So as I mentioned, the community, they drive with each other. So we need to what are topics you want to hear from us? You are then keen to listen in to this podcast. So shoot some ideas in the channels here in the comments, so that we can, based on these ideas, brainstorm what could be the next topic for the next episode. Would be great to see that. And I think the last question I already mentioned this a little bit. That this could be the nice an idea, a broader idea, because for the next episode,
Yeah.
and this is something, integrating, definitely. No, I already mentioned this. We had a lot of talks with our internal Deutsche Telekom colleagues who are dealing with processes around payments, cross-border payments, or with colleagues here at Telekom MMS who have small and medium enterprises who have different bunch of use cases. This could be so we have already some
Topic for
ideas on the
next
table
episode.
at histories. here,
Yeah,
and would be great to
sure.
dig deeper in some examples in the next episode, if the other ones in the community are willing to
Yeah.
tune in then as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, XTC Explained for this. This is going to be our next topic for the podcast, and that's a big shout out to our community, whoever is watching. And if you are interested for the next episode and next podcast with Alex and Deutsche Telekom, please share your questions on the comment section, just like XTC Explained, and we're gonna pick some of the topics for our next podcast or the subsequent podcast. Depends on
Yes.
the topics. Thank you so much. All right. So
Cool.
yeah, thank you so much, all of you. And yeah, as I said, let's just look forward to the next one. And thank you, Alex, so much for your time today. I look forward to
Thank you very much.
speaking to you
Really like
on the next
to
episode.
discuss this. Really nice. Thanks for all the questions, the comments, the interaction is really important interaction, and thanks again. And yeah, looking forward for the second podcast, as well as looking forward for Telecom and Friends event as part of the Blockchain Berlin week.
Absolutely. Likewise. Thank you.
Thank you very much.